Hi everyone, welcome to day 2 of the Admin Career Challenge. So during today, I'm going to be talking about the different industries and transferable skills that you can use to relaunch your career successfully in Salesforce. It can be very daunting to relaunch your career because you can think, well, I've never done Salesforce before, so why is somebody going to hire me? So I'm going to shed some light on what is it that actually employers are looking for that's going to help you stand out in the crowd. Now, I've worked and hired Salesforce professionals for over 10 years, but equally, we've worked with over 400 employers on helping them hire talent as well. Now, the first thing that employers will want to look for is your background and industry experience. So I always encourage our trainees to apply for job roles within an industry that they've had a previous background within. Now, Salesforce, as a client relationship management system, they sell themselves into different industries, what they call industry verticals, because their product is used by end customers and businesses in certain industries. So, for example, if you have experience in one of these industries, what I'm recommending you do is that you sell yourself into a role within a consultancy or an end customer. I'll talk about that in a moment, which is going to be aligned with your past experience, because then you can speak the lingo, you understand the processes, you understand the targets that they have, and that gives you a very good advantage. And that's what employers are looking to hire, because it's harder to teach industry experience, and it's easier to teach Salesforce knowledge, right? Because Salesforce knowledge is there, it can be learned, it can be developed, but years of experience in an industry is much harder to find. So the typical industries, I'm going to run through these. I've got them on my page. There's quite a few. They could be within media, retail, marketing, sales, automotive, consumer goods, education, communication, energy and utilities, financial services, healthcare and life sciences, manufacturing, public sector, non-profit and technology. Now that covers pretty much most of the industries I can think of. There might be maybe a couple missing, but literally, with any of those backgrounds, if you've got knowledge of those areas, then you can step into it. So literally, Salesforce does end up in most industries. They tend to have specialist products for those industries as well. So there is the sales cloud, there is the service cloud, there is the financial services cloud, there's the health cloud, there's a non-profit cloud. And so as a Salesforce professional, you can start to niche down in certain products that you are most familiar with and comfortable with. You will never know everything about all the products in the Salesforce industry. There are too many now. And so it's much better to have a specialism where you can really understand and harness the product and that customer group in a very specialist way that is going to boost your salary and your earning potential. So, for example, if you go and work for a Salesforce consultancy, they will go and implement Salesforce for certain customers, and they will have product teams that focus on implementing Salesforce for that industry. Different Salesforce consultancies will focus on a certain number of industry verticals as their specialism. That's what's very much encouraged. So, for example, if you had a background in financial services, you would perhaps go and look for a Salesforce consultancy that implements Salesforce within financial businesses. And that would be a great starting point for you because they're going to love your background and experience. Equally, you might work for an end customer. An end customer might be a bank, for example. So a bank, you might pitch yourself in there to work in their Salesforce team, but you are aware of the financial industry because you've worked in it before. And rather than doing that financial role, you're working in the Salesforce team within that financial institution because you understand the lingo and how they work. And that gives you a head start in that job opportunity. Now, the difference between working for an end customer and a consultancy is that as an end customer, you get to know that business and that team really well. You become part of the furniture. And for those of you that just like that comfort, that routine, that stability, and you kind of get familiar with, everything and everybody really well, that might really suit you. Whereas if you get bored and you like change and you love learning new things, a consultancy environment where you work on one project for 6 months and then another project for 6 months, in different businesses might suit you much better. So think about your personality style and which sort of one resonates with you the best. Now, next I'm going to talk through those transferable skills. And I want you to think back to, the skills that you had or the skills you have now as a parent or in previous job roles. So the first is people management. With people management, it's being able to influence and communicate with people throughout that life cycle of a project. You need to be able to influence people, sell Salesforce to them, engage them, enthuse them, educate them about what Salesforce can do for them to get them on board. And that's a key thing about digital adoption. So those people management skills are really key, and a lot around those influential negotiation skills and just helping people on a journey of learning new technology, right? Because for some people that can be quite scary, they can be nervous, they can be like, what's this going to happen? You know, maybe they're very comfortable with their way of working now. So you have to bring people on a journey. So if you're great at that, then that can really help. Project management. Now, I talked about this on day one. So project management skills equally can be very valuable. Yes, you might not have a certification in that, that's fine, but you can get that. But if you are naturally an organizer, you like organizing people, delegating things, planning things, you've got a lot of those innate skills, then having, you can say you've got project management skills and you can work towards a agile project management certification to help you progress up that ladder in the Salesforce world. Now, the third thing is customer service. You are constantly dealing with customers. The people using Salesforce and who you are supporting are your customers. So if you've got background in customer service, how you manage people, how you treat them, how you respond to people, that is a great transferable skill. Customer service skills are something that you really want to sort of make stand out on any of your CVs and in your interviews. Number 4, data analytics. Now, some of you might have data analytics, some of you might not. This isn't, this skill list that I'm going through isn't, you don't need to have all of these skills, but certainly these are things that you can pull out. So if you love analyzing data and seeing how businesses are performing or teams performing, then that's, again, another great thing that you can pull out on your CV. This Salesforce is fantastic at helping you analyze and build reports and dashboards to see how an organization is performing. It's one of the key things that sells it. So you definitely, want to pull that out if that's something you love and you have done before. Next on the list is training and facilitation skills. So if you've naturally trained people in your team or you've facilitated workshops and gathered views from different people, then you'd really want to emphasize that as well on your CV, because you'll be doing a lot of that in a Salesforce role, facilitating different stakeholders, holding workshops, training people on what Salesforce can do for them. That's a key essential skill. So if you've got a teaching background or training background, or facilitation or coach background, they're great sort of transferable skills. Next is communication skills. This probably really builds on the people management bit and the facilitation training ones. So again, any background in communication skills and how you communicate in different ways, whether that's through email, social media, personable, any training you've had in communication skills about how you can enthuse and engage people is great. If you've got background in marketing and the strategy for communication in that way, great things to add to your CV. Next is leadership skills. Now, you might think leadership as being, senior management or C-suite. It doesn't have to be. Actually, as a Salesforce professional, you are leading people through change within any job role that you are doing. You are sharing a vision of what is possible. You are holding, influencing people. You are encouraging them to make decisions. So leadership skills can be any type of role where you might have had to influence people to make decisions by creating a business case or sharing a vision and getting buy-in to it. So think about where you've had leadership skills, and say that doesn't need to mean that you've had a senior management role. It could be that you've had any role where you've had to engage buy-in. So think about how you can demonstrate leadership skills, because what you'll need to do in a Salesforce role, as I say, is engage people in what technology can do for them. Engage them in that vision. The next one is process improvement. So if you have been in an organization where you've seen that things aren't working quite right or they could be better, what have you done to improve processes? What is it that you've done to help facilitate that? Have you held a workshop? Have you mapped it all out and helped look at improvements? Have you managed those improvements? If you've got any background of improving processes, again, it doesn't have to be a formal thing that you've done, but maybe just as part of your job role, they're great things to present on your CV in an interview. And then finally, customer engagement and journey building. So this is where you might map out those customer touch points of like, well, how are we engaging customers and what are we doing with them at those different points, and how do we move them through a journey to engage with our organization and brand. Now, this is quite common and familiar to like people who've got marketing backgrounds, but similarly, if you've been dealing with customers in any capacity, you might have been involved in this as well. You might have led it, you might have participated in it. Either of those, emphasize it, talk about how you have contributed to improving customer journeys and customer experience. That is incredibly important for Salesforce, because what it is a customer relationship management system. It's all about improving customer relations and looking at all those touch points and using technology to improve that customer experience. So I hope that's given you that indication of all those different things, all those different skills, all those different backgrounds that you might have collated through being a parent, through in different jobs, even your volunteer roles, that you can go, actually, you know what? I can meet at least 5 of those different things. So have a think through, write it all down in your career plan template, start writing this down so you've got it clear on black and white on paper, and start to formulate whether you think it's something you do. And don't forget, you can book in a call with our customer success team to chat through any of these things in more detail. I'll see you on day 3. Take care. Bye.